Data for Good is a group of data analysts and data science people that have a passion for data and want to use their skill set to help nonprofit organizations in the social sector that are doing amazing things, but they don't have the access to the skill sets, they don't have the capacity to really take advantage of the data that they have. So we've organized Data for Good. We're a national nonprofit. We have chapters in Toronto, in Ottawa, Calgary, and Edmonton, and looking to expand across Canada. It's an impactful model, and we've done things like Datathons. We work with organizations in Calgary, like the Calgary Distress Center, the Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter, for the big events. But we also partner with smaller organizations and do a data core activity, engaging data ambassadors to help those organizations with smaller projects and get the most out of their data. So the impact that we get out of these Datathons really is in two different areas. The first is working with the nonprofit organization. What they really get to understand is the power of their data. They've been collecting this data for years, and more often than not, they've never really used it. But by partnering with Data for Good and going through a Datathon experience, they really understand what they can do with their data. So we help them to develop objectives, and those objectives are pursued within the Datathon. But they also get exposed to tools and technologies and approaches of how to use data. And all that stays with them after the Datathon. So that's what's really neat about what happens there and how the nonprofits benefit. The other benefit is with the Data for Good members. And this is just amazing. If you were sitting in that room on the Sunday morning when 60 people, 6 teams were providing their feedback and their results, and you saw their passion, their understanding of the issues that the nonprofit was facing, whether it's the distress center or the women's emergency shelter, and all the analytics and visualizations, but focused on the problems in the social sector. So what Data for Good is really doing is making that connection between the technical skills and using those skills for social good and doing data for good.
I'm Jeff Halverson, Manager of Program Evaluation and Research at the Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter. So what changed as a result of the Datathon? As a nonprofit person, we spend a lot of time collecting data for funders and our donors to be really accountable for the dollars that we're entrusted with, accountable to the women that we're mandated to serve and who trust us with their experiences. Throughout those experiences, they tell us a lot of details about themselves, and we have piles and piles of data. And there's 2 of us in my department, and we have very little time to go through it all beyond the kind of day-to-day data prep and reporting. A Datathon allowed us to take 5 years of historic data and summarize it, and now I have 80 slides of graphs and presentations which create information about trends where I can go back and draw on that data to be able to really position and understand the context that I'm working in, where are things shifting, and provide good insights to the people that I'm working with so that we can make better decisions about how to serve women better in Calgary. One of the things that I've really taken away from the Datathon as well is the technology, and so being able to really allow have tools to really kind of dig into the data, do the drill down reports so that we can not have the static information but have those live graphs and reports where they can really, people can in the moment figure out what the questions are and then use their curiosity and really kind of drill down and figure out what is going on in their programs and be more responsive. Yeah. How significant was this to me in my organization? Well, for myself, like I said, there's 2 people who are able to have access to the data in my department and really be able to drill down. I get maybe a couple hours a week to follow my curiosity and really figure out what's in there. In one weekend, we did 500 hours of data analysis, we figured. That's almost years of analysis that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. For me personally, it's really connects with the ability to be a good steward of the information that people have entrusted me with, and so that we're able to bring that into our organization's operations. So one funny chart that I've seen, I think floating around on Facebook, was a pie chart with 70-30 split, and so the 30% are nonprofits who like to make decisions based on data. 70% prefer to guess.
I'm Randy Thornhill. I'm the manager of reporting and evaluation at the YWCA of Calgary. So the impact of the Datathon for the Y, I think, in addition to what Jeff has already addressed with Quest around having a better understanding of the data that we have available to us, was particularly the ability to compare our data to another organization, and that was a very rare opportunity for us. In the sector, typically people are organizations are very concerned about sharing the data outside the organization. So you get a rare opportunity to compare to what another organization is doing on a very similar data set. So that was critical for us in terms of learning that we could look for operational efficiencies, we could look at how characteristics of our clients might be different between the programs, and how that might affect the success of those clients depending upon the different ways that we provide service to them. I think the thing that changed as a result of this for us is a more acute awareness that the data could be as useful as it turned out to be in terms of telling us some really important things. Length of stay was one thing that we really gained a renewed awareness of. So beyond the length of stay, we also learned that there were some characteristics that were unique in our client set relative to Quest's client data set, which tells us that there may be something fundamentally different about the clients who are accessing our services. So that certainly encourages us to look at that information more closely and understand not only why those differences occur, but how we can meet their needs in perhaps a different way or even in a similar way to what Quest is doing.